My sister called me cheap and left me out from her trip, but she was unaware I earned $100,000 monthly. My name is Lena Carter and I'm 29 years old. I live a quiet but successful life, working from home in my cozy apartment. Most people wouldn't believe it, but I make $100,000 a month without ever stepping into an office. I never brag about it though. I don't wear flashy designer clothes or drive a fancy car. I just like living life on my own terms. My sister, Sophia Carter, is the opposite of me. She's 31 years old, obsessed with money, luxury, and appearances. If something isn't expensive, she doesn't want it. She's always looked down on me, calling me boring and cheap because I don't spend my money the way she does. One day, I found out that Sophia and some of our cousins were planning a big vacation to the Bahamas. I had no idea about it until I overheard her talking to our cousin Jessica on the phone. Lena? Oh, she's not coming, Sophia laughed. She's way too cheap for this trip. She'd probably book a budget hotel while we're in a 5-star resort. Felt my face heat up. She had no idea how much money I had. She just assumed that because I didn't flaunt it, I must not have much. I didn't say anything to her that day. Instead, I smiled and acted like I didn't care. But inside, I was already planning my next move. He thought I was cheap? Fine. I'd show her exactly what I could afford. That night, I sat in my apartment, sipping my tea and thinking about Sophia's words. I wasn't hurt, I was annoyed. She had always judged me for not throwing money around the way she did. It wasn't that I couldn't afford it, I just never felt the need to prove myself. But this time, maybe it was time to teach her a lesson. I opened my laptop and started planning my own vacation. But I wasn't just going to the Bahamas. If she was staying at a luxury resort, I was going beyond that. Private oceanfront villa, personal chef, spa treatments and VIP experiences. Everything first class. Unlike her, I didn't need to split costs with friends. I could afford to do this alone. A part of me wanted to send her a message right then and there just to see her reaction, but that would ruin the surprise. I wanted her to find out on her own. I wanted her to feel the shock when she saw that the sister she called cheap was living a life of luxury without even trying. I wasn't hurt, I was irked. Maya had always looked at me through a lens of judgment, dismissing me for not flaunting my money the way she did. It wasn't that I lacked wealth. Oh no, I had plenty, but I simply didn't need to parade it around like she did. To her, spending was a form of validation, an open display of worth. For me, it was always about living with purpose, not spectacle. But this time I had had enough. It was time to show her just how wrong she was about me. I opened my laptop with the calm precision of a master strategist, my fingers dancing across the keys as I began crafting a vacation plan, one that would leave Maya in awe. If she was booking herself into a luxury resort, I wasn't just going to follow suit. I was going to soar beyond that. Private oceanfront villa, personal chef, spa treatments and VIP experiences. Everything top tier. Unlike her, I didn't need to share the costs with a crowd. I could indulge in all of this by myself with no need for a tag-along. A part of me was tempted to send her a message immediately, to watch her mind try to wrap itself around the spectacle she would soon witness. But no, that would spoil the surprise. No, I wanted Maya to discover it on her own, to feel the weight of her assumptions crumbling when she saw me living a life she could never have imagined. I wanted her to feel the shock, the sting of realizing the sister she called cheap was soaring higher than she ever could. The next morning, as I went about my usual routine, I kept my plans to myself, savoring the secret. When I checked my phone, a new message from the family group chat caught my eye. Can't wait for the Bahamas trip. Who's ready for luxuries? Maya had written. Olivia responded almost immediately. So excited. It's going to be amazing. I wasn't tagged. They hadn't even thought to invite me. It wasn't the fact that I wanted to go that hurt. It was the fact that Maya had decided I wasn't worthy enough to be included. A smirk crept across my face. She had no idea what was coming. A few days later, they posted pictures from the airport, all smiles, designer luggage, and matching sunglasses. A picture-perfect luxury vacation. Meanwhile, that afternoon, I arrived at my private airport lounge, greeted by a warm smile from the flight attendant, Emma. Miss Carter, your jet is ready for takeoff. I stepped onto the sleek private jet, sinking into the plush leather seat. A waiter offered me a glass of chilled champagne, which I took with a slow, deliberate sip, letting the bubbles dance on my tongue. I pulled out my phone, snapping a quiet picture of the elegant interior of the jet, the soft leather, the gleaming champagne glass. Just a simple shot with no need for a caption. Let the silence do the talking. I captured a snapshot of the sleek jet interior, the runway stretching out beneath me and the golden-rimmed glass in my hand. No showy captions, no boasting, just a quiet, effortless post on my Instagram story. Within moments my phone began to buzz, the screen lighting up with messages. The first one was from Maya. Wait, what? Where are you going? A satisfied smile curled across my lips. This was going to be delightful. I let Maya's message linger, pretending I hadn't seen it. I could already imagine her reaction. Her eyes widening in disbelief, her jaw clenching as she tried to make sense of what she was seeing. For so long she had looked down on me, dismissing me as someone who couldn't afford luxury. Now she was left scrambling, her world turned upside down as she realized how wrong she was. As the jet took off, I leaned back into the plush leather seat, savoring the smooth ride. A waiter refilled my champagne and I turned my phone to airplane mode. Let her wait. When I landed in the Bahamas, a private car was waiting for me. The driver, Mark, greeted me with a smile, swiftly loading my luggage and driving me straight to my oceanfront villa. It was even more magnificent than I had imagined. White marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows offering a breathtaking ocean view, and a private infinity pool stretching endlessly toward the horizon. David, the personal chef, had already prepared fresh seafood and tropical fruit to welcome me. I kicked off my shoes and walked out onto the balcony, taking in a deep breath of the salty, warm air. This was the type of luxury Maya always boasted about, but I didn't need to brag. I just lived it. After settling in, I turned my phone back on, and the messages came flooding in instantly. Maya, Lena, seriously? Where are you? Maya again. Did you just take a random jet pic for Instagram or is this real? Olivia. OMG, did you fly private? Susan. Sweetie, where are you? Your sister is saying you're on a trip. I couldn't help but smirk. Maya was panicking. Instead of replying, I posted a simple photo of my infinity pool, the ocean stretching far beyond it with a coconut drink in my hand. No words, no location tag, just a picture. Less than a minute later, my phone buzzed again. Sophia called. I let it ring, the phone vibrating softly against my palm. She called again. I let it ring some more, savoring the moment. Then finally I picked up. Hey, what's up? I said, my voice casual, like I hadn't just spent the past few hours reveling in the irony of it all. Lena. Where are you? Maya's voice was sharp, almost jagged, but underneath it there was something else. A trace of shock, maybe even jealousy. Oh, just on a little getaway, I replied, keeping my tone light, as if I hadn't just shattered her entire perception of me. Needed a break. There was a pause on the other end, the silence heavy as she tried to digest what I had just said. You flew private? She asked, her voice faltering slightly as if the words were a foreign language to her. Yeah, I said, sipping my drink slowly, letting her process it. Another beat of silence. Then she laughed, but it sounded forced, like the sound of a person trying to pretend they weren't drowning. Wow. I mean, that's crazy. I just didn't think you were the type to spend like that. I smiled to myself, savoring her confusion. Well, I replied smoothly, I don't usually feel the need to impress anyone. There was a long pause, longer than I'd expected, as she no doubt tried to reconcile the person she thought I was with the reality of the person I had become. Finally, she spoke again, her voice more tentative. Well, maybe we can meet up? We're at the Blue Sands Resort. You should come by. I almost laughed out loud. Now that she knew I was living in luxury, suddenly she wanted to see me? I played along, pretending to think it over. I don't know if I'll have time, I said, letting the words hang in the air. I have a yacht day planned tomorrow and a private island trip after that. But maybe if I'm free. Her silence told me everything I needed to know. This was the moment when she realized she wasn't the only one who could indulge in luxury. The realization was sinking in, and I could almost hear her grinding her teeth from the other end of the line. Finally, she let out a small, forced laugh. Oh wow. A yacht and a private island? That's unexpected. Yeah, I said, swirling the ice in my drink. Figured I'd treat myself. I could tell she was desperate for answers now. I had always been the quiet, sensible one. The one who didn't waste money on frivolous things. The one she never bothered to include in her plans because she thought I couldn't keep up. And now, she was realizing how wrong she had been. She started again, trying to sound casual, but I could hear the cracks in her voice. Who are you on this trip with? I smiled, knowing exactly what she was thinking. If I had been invited by some rich friend, it would make sense. If a boyfriend had taken me, that would explain it. But the fact that I had done this all on my own? That was something she couldn't fathom. Just me, I said, savoring the moment. Wait, so you're paying for all of this yourself? Yep. I took a slow sip of my drink, relishing the silence on the other end. Another long pause. How? I shrugged, even though she couldn't see me. I work, I replied simply. She scoffed. Lena, come on. You do some little online thing, right? How could that possibly pay for a private jet and a luxury villa? I finally let out a small, satisfied laugh. Sophia, do you have any idea how much I make? There was a long pause before she responded. I could almost hear the wheels turning in her mind, the realization dawning on her like a slow sunrise. Had never once asked, she'd just assumed. After a moment, I imagined her clearing her throat, trying to steady herself. I figured you were doing okay, she said, the words hesitant, unsure. I leaned against the balcony railing, watching the sun dip lower, painting the sky in a beautiful symphony of colors. I watched it all, letting the moment stretch as long as I could. I make around 100 grand a month. Silence fell on the other end. I waited. Then finally her voice broke through, thick with disbelief. No, you don't. I do. The words hung in the air, heavy and unapologetic. She stopped, realizing that I wasn't joking, that this wasn't a punchline in some elaborate joke. I could practically hear her mind scrambling, trying to process the enormity of what I had just said. For the first time, Maya was speechless. It was as if the universe had shifted. All the years she'd mocked me, dismissed me, thought I was the one who couldn't keep up, and now she was seeing me for what I truly was. I smiled, relishing the power of that silence. Finally, she let out a nervous laugh, but it sounded different this time, less mocking, more careful. Well, that's amazing, Lena. Really? She paused again, no longer the arrogant sister, but a woman beginning to realize the magnitude of her mistake. I guess I just never knew you were doing that well. I let her stew in the realization, letting it sink in. After a few seconds, she tried again, her voice now laced with uncertainty. So, about meeting up? Maybe we could do dinner? I'd love to catch up. I almost laughed out loud. A week ago, she hadn't even considered inviting me, and now she was begging for a dinner date? I glanced at my schedule, a schedule I had made for myself, not for anyone else's approval. Sunset yacht cruise, private chef experience, an exclusive event at a VIP beach club. I didn't need to see her. I didn't need her validation. But for now, I wasn't done having fun. I hummed thoughtfully. I'll think about it. But I'm really busy. I could hear the frustration in her voice, even though she tried to hide it. Oh, right. Well, if you're free, let me know. I didn't answer her, and I didn't need to. The next 2 days, I fully immersed myself in the luxury I had gifted myself. Each morning, I woke to the soft sounds of waves crashing outside my villa. My personal chef, David, prepared gourmet breakfasts with fresh fruit, eggs cooked to perfection, and steaming cups of rich coffee. Every detail was taken care of. This was my life. The yacht day was nothing short of a dream. As I lounged on the deck, the sun kissing my skin, I couldn't help but think about how drastically different this was from the kind of vacations Maya always posted about. Hers were all about the spectacle, posing in designer outfits, making sure the world knew exactly how much she spent. But I wasn't doing this for anyone else. I wasn't here to impress. I was here for me. Still, I couldn't deny that a small part of me was thoroughly enjoying the fact that Maya was losing her mind over this. She had sent a few more texts, desperate for my attention. Sophia, hey, did you decide about dinner? Sophia, we're going to this really exclusive rooftop restaurant tonight. You should come. Sophia, Lena? I ignored them all. That night, instead of meeting up with her, I dined under the stars at my private villa, savoring a 5-course meal prepared just for me. I wasn't going to drop everything just because she had suddenly decided I was worth her time. The next morning, I made a small decision. I posted a new Instagram story, this time a video. It started with a slow pan of the sunrise over the ocean, followed by a glimpse of my private infinity pool. I didn't need to say a word. The video spoke for itself. It took less than 5 minutes for my phone to buzz. Maya was calling. I let it ring twice before I answered. "Hey Lena," she said, her voice out of breath like she had been waiting by her phone. "Are you still in the Bahamas?" "Yep," I said casually, stretching as I sat on my sun lounger. There was a hesitation on the other end. "Oh, we leave tomorrow, so I was hoping we could at least get together before then." I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Instead of answering right away, I let the silence drag on, savoring the tension. Then I said, "It's funny. A week ago, you didn't even think I was worth inviting on this trip." She let out an awkward laugh. "Maya, that wasn't it," I interrupted her, my voice smooth and calm. "It was exactly what you said." I could hear the awkward silence on the other end. I knew she was replaying her words in her mind, probably trying to make sense of the situation, but I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even hurt. I just wanted her to sit with it, let it sink in. Finally, she sighed, the weight of her mistake pressing down on her. "Okay, I messed up. I shouldn't have said that." Her words hung in the air like a reluctant apology. But I didn't let her off the hook. "Not this time." She exhaled sharply, admitting, "And I shouldn't have left you out." That was the apology I had been waiting for. Not because I needed it. No, I didn't need her to apologize. But because she needed to say it. For the first time, Maya had to face the truth. She had underestimated me. "Thanks," I replied simply, letting the silence stretch, making her stew in it a little longer. She hesitated, then tried. Again, "So dinner tonight?" I smiled to myself, shaking my head even though she couldn't see me. "No, I've got plans." There was a brief pause. I could hear the disappointment in her voice, the air thick with her unspoken frustration. I let it sink in, savoring the power shift. Before she could respond, I added, "But maybe next time, if you invite me from the start." He got the message loud and clear. This time I was the one who hung up first. The rest of my trip was perfect. I spent my last day on a private island, sipping a tropical drink as my toes sank into the warm sand. No drama. No stress. Just pure peace. Meanwhile, I knew Maya was stewing. She had apologized, but I could tell she wasn't used to being the one chasing after someone. Normally, she was the one calling the shots, deciding who was worthy of inclusion and who wasn't. But now the power had shifted. That evening, as I watched the sunset from my villa, my phone buzzed again. It was Maya. She had softened, but just enough. "I just wanted to say safe travels tomorrow. Maybe we can talk when we're both back home." I smiled. She wasn't pushing me this time. She had realized something. She no longer had the power to dictate the terms. I didn't need her approval. The next morning, as I stepped into the sleek black car that was waiting to take me to the airport, I felt lighter. I had come to the Bahamas with no intention of proving anything to anyone, but in the end, I had made my point without even trying. A few hours later, mid-flight, I checked Instagram. Maya had posted a picture of her group at the airport, looking tired and frazzled. The caption read, "Ugh, flight delayed. Can't wait to be home." I chuckled to myself. Commercial flights, delays, crowds. Everything I had completely avoided. For the first time, I posted something direct. I snapped a picture of my empty private jet cabin, a warm cappuccino beside me, and added the caption, "No delays here. Airplane hot beverage." I didn't tag her. I didn't need to. The second I landed, I saw the message pop up. "Maya. Okay, I give up. We need to talk." I smirked to myself. This was going to be interesting. The story shared today is just one small glimpse into the ever-expanding world of Reddit family drama and the many Reddit stories that unfold daily. Through stories like these, we begin to see the complexity of human relationships, the intricate webs of family dynamics, and the surprising turns that life can take. This story is a perfect example of how we, as individuals, navigate the tides of family expectations, assumptions, and the powerful realization that sometimes, those who judge us have no idea who we really are. Like Maya's belief that Anna was cheap, can be shattered in an instant when the truth comes to light. It's not just about money, but about the unseen strength and resilience that often lies beneath the surface. This is a Reddit family tale in its rawest form. How judgment and the need to prove oneself can lead to powerful revelations. The lesson? Never assume you know someone's worth based on what you see, and always be mindful of how you treat those who seem quieter or more humble. Maya's story reflects countless family drama Reddit stories where sibling rivalry, jealousy, and pride create friction. But there's a twist. Anna doesn't need to flaunt her success. She doesn't need to be included in Maya's luxurious world to prove her value. Her silent victory in choosing to enjoy life on her own terms, without the need for validation, speaks volumes. This video is more than just an entertaining Reddit story compilation. It's a reminder of the valuable lessons these stories teach us. They highlight how vulnerability and honesty, even when faced with family conflict, can lead to growth. This kind of family drama is not just about the tensions that arise but also about what we learn from those tensions. These stories, whether about cheating, family misunderstandings, or relationship struggles, offer AI Reddit stories that remind us to appreciate our own resilience and to acknowledge the often invisible battles others may be fighting. Reddit or Telltales Reddit are more than just tales of wrongdoing. They are reflections of how we navigate our personal and emotional lives and how we can ultimately rise above the judgment of others. Reddit update. In a world full of subreddits and the constant desire to impress, sometimes the most powerful act we can do is choose to live on our own terms, free from the expectations of others. Anna's story teaches us that it's not about proving anything to anyone. The Reddit family drama stories remind us that our worth isn't determined by external validation but by the strength we find in staying true to ourselves. When faced with judgment like Anna with Maya, remember that sometimes silence is your most powerful response. It doesn't need to be loud, and it certainly doesn't need to be for anyone else's approval. Live authentically. That is the true power. Thank you for joining us today. If you found value in Anna's story and the lessons it carried, don't forget to like and subscribe for more thought-provoking and heartwarming content. Your support allows us to continue bringing you more Reddit family tales and all the relationship stories that connect us. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on our latest stories. Stay curious, keep learning from the narratives that shape our journeys, and let's continue to grow together. Until next time, take care and keep embracing the storytime moments that make life truly unforgettable.